Hello everyone. Myself Sanat Kumar Swai, faculty at Vedang Institute of Technology, and today we'll be going to discuss about job attitude and how is it helpful in the workplace. Earlier in the previous classes, we have already discussed about attitude, positive attitude, negative attitude. But today we'll be discussing about the positive attitude, sorry, job attitude. So what kind of job attitude you need to have in the workplace and how it is going to help in the workplace. Okay. We'll be going through few slides, the, the various aspects of the job attitude. Okay. Attitudes. So what do you mean by attitude? Most of you have must have um, um, heard the term called attitude. Okay. What exactly is attitude? The attitude is something, okay, um, related to your being or your thought process, the way you think or the way you present yourself. Okay. It has got nothing to do with the physical, but more it is related to a mental position. So attitude is a mental position related to a way of thinking or being. How you present yourself, how you think yourself, that is known as attitude. Okay. Attitude changes everything. Attitude can be caught and cannot be taught. Okay. So attitude, your attitude changes everything. The way how you change, how you present yourself, how you show yourself, your being, your thinking, your thought process, that changes everything. Okay. So attitude can be caught, but it cannot be taught. Okay. That cannot be taught by anything rather than it can be caught. Okay. Now, what are the elements of attitude? There are three elements of attitude. One is cognitive, one is effective, and one is behavioral. So, cognitive, effective, and behavioral. Okay. So, what do you mean by cognitive component? Cognitive component is the opinion or belief segment of an attitude. Okay. Your opinion, your belief segment. Okay. Effective components means the emotional or feeling segment of your attitude. Okay. The first one is your belief segment, and the second one is your feeling segment. How you feel. Okay. Third is behavioral component, an intention to behave in a certain way towards something or something, someone or something. So your intention, what is your intention? What is your behavior towards that? Okay. Towards a particular person or to something. Okay. In respect to something or in respect to someone. Okay. So that becomes your behavioral component, right? So what is the relationship of the three component? How it has been related? Attitude, that is negative. Okay. So what do you mean by cognitive? Cognitive means your evaluation. How do you evaluate? Okay. For example, my supervisor gave a promotion to a co-worker who deserved it less than me. So my supervisor is unfair. It does happen that your colleague or your co-worker, they are being given a promotion rather than you working more harder than them. Okay. So what happens? Your evaluation, that is known as cognitive. Okay. Your attitude. Okay. It does happen that you evaluate your supervisor that though I have been working harder than my co-worker, but in spite of that, my co-worker has been given a promotion rather than me. So my supervisor is not that fair, is unfair. Okay. So that is evaluation. You evaluate. Next is effective feeling. How do you feel? Now it's because you have evaluated your supervisor as an unfair, then you dislike your supervisor. You don't like your supervisor. So that is your feeling. Okay. Third, behavioral action. I'm looking for other work. I have complained about my supervisor to anyone who would listen. Okay. So what happens? Your action. Now you have evaluated, you have felt. Now comes your action. Okay. So you are looking for other work. You are going to switch the company. Okay. You're going to complain about your supervisor to someone who is the head of the company. Okay. So that is your action. Okay. So this is the relationship. In organization, attitudes are important because of their behavioral component. Okay. So for example, if workers believe there is a conspiracy made by the bosses, your managers, your supervisors, or XYZ, so what happens? To make employees work harder for the same or less money. Okay. So therefore, the question is how they relate to actual job behavior and how they may be changed. Okay. So what does happen? What does happen? Attitudes are important because of, why attitudes are important in their behavioral component, particularly because sometimes there is a thinking, there's a thought that there's a belief. Okay, that may be a positive belief, that may be a negative belief, that or there's a conspiracy, that there's a conspiracy going on, which has been made by my immediate manager, by my boss, or by my supervisor XYZ. Okay, so what happens is that uh, in spite of that, if the managers of the company, they want to make the employee work harder for that same amount of less money, so what happens is that the question is how they relate to actual job behavior and how they may be changed. Okay, so that is the question. Okay, the employees can relate that actual job behavior, how they can correlate that there's been conspiracy going on, which has been made by their bosses or their supervisors. Okay, so that is known as behavioral component. Does behavior always follows from attitude? Whether yes or no? So in the late 1960s, a review of a research that assumed that the attitudes and behaviors are causally related to the people. Okay. What happens? So there's an example. What kind of example? People watch TV programs which they like. Employees avoid assignment they find distasteful. Okay. So a researcher called Leon Festler argued that attitudes follows the behavior. You see, people definitely is a very common thing that people watch the TV programs which they like. They're not going to watch TV programs which they don't like. Okay. Similarly, employees also avoid assignments which they find not interesting, okay, or distasteful. They definitely they will avoid assignment. But if they find some assignment which is very interesting for them, then definitely they're going to work more harder. Okay. Cognitive dissonance. Okay. Any incompatibility between two or more attitudes or between behaviors and attitudes are cheating, tobacco company. Okay. The result is whether you make corrections or leave it. So what happens is that if there's a cognitive dissonance among the company company and the employees, so what happens? They start there's a dissonance in their attitude. Okay, they start cheating. Okay, so what happens? The result is that whether you try to change it or you leave it, that's up to the employees. If you are able to change it, you can change it, any kind of dissonance within the company, or you better leave it. Okay. So types of major job attitudes. What are the job attitudes? One is job satisfaction, next is job involvement, and the third is organizational commitment. Okay, so what do you mean by job satisfaction? So your feeling, there is a collection of feeling. Okay, there may be a positive feeling, there may be a negative feeling. Okay, whether my job is a good job, whether my job is a bad job, whether I'm being properly paid, whether I'm unpaid, or I mean less underpaid. Okay, so these all constitute your job satisfaction to the particular role. Next is job involvement. Okay, how do you involve? How do you identify the job? Actively participating in it and considering performance important to self-worth. Okay. So what is your self-worth? Whether you are actively participating in the job role, whether your job involvement involves active participation, or it doesn't have any active participation. So your job involvement is also important. Next is organizational commitment. Uh, um, um, whether the your organizational commitments are fulfilling to the commitments being employed by the company or not. Okay, whether you are identifying yourself with that particular organization and its goal or not. If you are not able to identify yourself with that particular organization's goal and objectives, aims and objectives, then definitely you don't have any kind of organizational commitment. If you have a organizational commitment, then you are bound to identify yourself with the particular company's aims and objectives and its goals. Okay, so that is known as organizational commitment. Okay, organizational commitment also has various other impacts like effective commitment, continuous commitment, and normative commitment. So what is known as effective commitment? Affective commitment means you have a emotional attachment. Okay, you have an emotional attachment to any kind of organizations with their beliefs, with their goals, and with their values. Okay, that is known as your affective commitments. Next is continuous commitment. The perceived economy's values of remaining with an organization compared to leaving it. So you are being paid well enough. So if you are going to leave that organization, you believe that you are not going to be paid that much money which you are being paid in that particular organization. So that is known as the perceived economic value. So continuous commitment. Next is normative commitment. So an obligation which remains with the organization for moral or ethical reasons. So sometimes it does happen that you are not remaining with an organization particularly for money, rather than you are with the organization for ethical norms. You believe that the organization is working for an ethical in an ethical way, and you believe in that particular ethical norms. So that is why you are being associated with that organization. So that is known as normative commitment. Other job attitude, perceived organizational support, POS. Okay, so what happens that the degree to which employees believe that the organization value their contribution, whether the organization is believing, or they are accepting that they are valuing your contribution and also cares about your well-being, then that is known as perceived organizational support. Okay, for example, employee accommodation, forgiveness or minor mistakes made by employees. You see, there are a lot of companies. What happens that they forgo your minor mistakes. Okay, they let it go. Okay, that's fine, not an issue. But there are also companies, they are very strict, and they don't even forgive any kind of minor mistakes which has been done by the employees. So that also impacts your perceived organization support. Okay, how the organization is understanding or valuing our contribution. Okay. Next is employee engagement. Employee engagement, an individual involvement with, satisfaction with, and enthusiasm for the work he or she does. Okay, for example, highly engaged employee have a passion for their work and feel a deep connection to their company. Disengaged employee have checked out, putting time but not energy or attention to work. See, employee engagement, how the employees are being engaged in that particular organization or that particular work, that is also important as a job attitude. For example, they are highly engaged employee who give their 100% effort. Okay, and they have a passion for their work. Okay, but there are also disengaged employees. Okay, they don't give their 100% effort on their, or they are being drained out. They don't have that energy or attention towards their put their attention or energy towards their work. So that is also known as employee engagement, and this is also one of the job attitude. Are these job attitude really all that distinct? Whether it is distinct or not? See, there is an evidence which suggests that these attitudes are highly related. What do you mean by related? This means that there is some distinctiveness among them. Though there is a overlapping, but still there is a distinctiveness among them. All the job attitudes which we have already discussed. Okay. Job satisfaction, very important thing. Okay, what do you mean by job satisfaction? If there is no job satisfaction, definitely you are not going to work in that company for longer period. And even if you are working, you're not going to give you 100%, right? So a positive feeling, if you are having a positive feeling that yes, I am there's an feeling about one's job resulting from an evaluation of your characteristic, okay, or an individual emotional response to your particular work, then definitely that is going to be a proper job satisfaction. Yes, I've been satisfied in this particular job. Yeah. Second is, it includes multi-dimensional psychological response to individual job. Okay. It also includes psychological responses. Okay. Job satisfaction. Job satisfaction is the level of contentment employee which feels about their work, which can also affect the performance. So how do you feel, whether you are satisfied or not, whether you are contented or not in your job? If you are contented, then definitely you are going to give you 100%. Okay, so that is also one of the aspect. So the collection of feelings and beliefs that people have about their current job. So what kind of feelings you have, what kind of beliefs you have about your current job is known as your job satisfaction. Job satisfaction and individual productivity, job satisfaction and organizational productivity, These are all interrelated. Okay, your job satisfaction and your how it is related to your individual productivity. Job satisfaction and your organizational productivity, how it also helps the productivity of the organization. Okay, job satisfaction and customer satisfaction. So how that is also related to the customer satisfaction. Job satisfaction and your OCB. So these are all interrelated. Okay. Now, how do you measure? How do you measure the job satisfaction? Okay. So there are two popular measures. Okay. In the first one is your single global rating. Okay. An individual's response to the question, how satisfied are you with your job? So what happens is the respondent, the employee, they are being asked to circle a number somewhere between 1 and 5. Okay. From 1 to highly satisfied and to 5 is highly dissatisfied. Okay. So what happens? How can and the second one is your global approach or facet approach. Okay, so what global approach means your overall satisfaction of the job, and facet approach means satisfaction particularly on any particular aspect. I like this job for this particular aspect, I like that job for this particular aspect. Okay, so that's known as facet approach. Determinants of job satisfaction. So what are the determinants of job satisfaction? Organizational factor, that can be organizational factor or that can be personal factor, according to Abraham K. A. Corman. Okay, so there are two types of factors. What are those? The major cause of job satisfaction are the work itself. As because I like that job, that is why I'm satisfied. Second is your pay band. I get a very good pay structure, okay, so that is why I like the job. Because the promotion structure is very good, that is why I like the job. Okay, my supervisor is very good, okay, very cooperative, I like the job. I get a very good feedback from the company, that's why I like the job. My co-workers are very good, that's why I like the job. So there are a lot of major causes of your job satisfaction. The impact of satisfied and dissatisfied employees on the workplace. So what are the impact? What are the impact of your satisfied and dissatisfied? One is exit, voice, loyalty, and neglect. Okay. So what is exit? Exit means behavior directed towards leaving the organization. So see, sometimes that it does happen that the behavior of the senior, it has been directed to you in such a way that you leave the organization. So that is the way that is known as exit. Voice, active and constructive attempt to improve conditions. So they give there's a voice that yes, there's an active and constructive attempts so that you can improve. You need to improve or the organization need to improve. Okay. Next is loyalty. Passively waiting for condition to improve. So you as because you are loyal, you are waiting for the right moment or the right condition to improve. Okay. And the last is neglect, allowing condition to worsen. So neglect means let the condition worsen on its own. So that is known as neglect. Yeah. So you see the impact of satisfied and dissatisfied employees on the workplace. So if we are using this in a diagrammatically, you see this voice and loyalty are known as constructive, and exit and neglect can be known as destructive. Okay, and the neglect and loyalty can be passive. Exit and voice can be active. Okay. So outcomes of satisfaction, dissatisfactions in the workplace. So there can be a lot of outcomes, and that can be dependable variables. Okay. So job satisfaction can be and performance can be positive. Performance can be negative. Customer satisfaction can be positive. Absenteeism can be negative. Turnover can be positive or negative. Workplace deviance can be negative. Okay, so the opposites are also true in case of dependable variable and in job satisfaction. Now if you're going to the Indian scenario, job attitude can be influenced by various kinds of factors like cultural factors, social factors, economic factors. Okay, so we are going to see few components of job attitudes with examples in the Indian context. Job satisfaction. So what happens in this, the employee's contentment is happiness with the job, is related with the job. Okay, for example, an IT professional in Bangalore might experience job satisfaction due to competitive pay, a vibrant tech culture, and ample career advancement opportunities in the city's thriving IT sector. So, if we are keeping all this everything aside, and let's take a case study, a example of an IT professional who is working in Bangalore. He or she might face job satisfaction due to a competitive pay, a vibrant tech culture, okay, and if he or she is having ample career advancement opportunities in that particular company or the city's Bangalore thriving IT sector. So this is then related to our Indian context. Okay. Job involvement. Okay, how do you involve? So it all depends on your involvement in that organization or in that job role. Okay. So high job involvement typically leads to higher performance and increased commitment to the organization. So if the more you are involved in that job role or the more you are involved in that particular company, then definitely your performance is higher, and that and increases the commitment to the organization. Organizational commitment. Okay. So what kind of organizational commitment you have? Okay. For example, an employee working in a socially responsible company that contributes to community development initiative might feel more committed to the organization due to its values. So it all depends on the values. What kind of values you are aligned with, and whether you want those alignment that the company you for you to align with the company and your values, and whether the company is practicing those values or not. Okay, so it all depends on your organizational commitments. Employee engagement. As we have already discussed, employee engagement, what kind of engagement, how you are engaged with the company, that also is important for your job satisfaction. An example could be like employee in a multinational corporation in Mumbai feeling engaged because of regular training programs, opportunities for cross-functional projects. So in any employee, okay, let's working for any particular company, if he or she is being engaged, okay, if there is a regular engagement, okay, there is a regular training, there is a regular engagement, there is for skill development, for his or her job role, then the company, the employee feels that he has been engaged in that company in a positive way, and that also values the employee's contribution in a more constructive way. Job stress and work life balance. The job stress, uh, there should be balance between job stress and work life balance, because your personal life and your work life, there should be a balance. Okay, why it is important? See, a professional in Delhi might experience job dissatisfaction due to prolonged commuting hours impacting their work life balance negatively. So these days, the employees who are working far off places, and the commuting can be a, a hectic problem. Okay, so that also is going to affect his work life balance, and that also is going to create job stress. The balance is very important. Cultural influence. Okay, so cultural influence also, as because India is a diverse country with a diverse cultural landscape, that also impacts the job attitude. Okay, so what happens in a hierarchical work culture prevalent in some Indian organizations, job attitude differently compared with more flatter collaborative organizational structure. So you have different type of organizational structures in different types of organization. So, and the cultural influences are such, as because India is a diverse cultural landscape, the cultural influences can be multifold. Okay, so to understand those and how the individual perceive them, that also creates a huge impact on their. Okay, positive thinkers is the invisible, fees the intangible, achieve the impossible. Okay, so if you are a positive thinker, then definitely you are going to see the invisible, you are going to feel the intangible, and also you can achieve the impossible. Okay. A positive attitude leads to a positive outcome. Choosing attitude, your choice can decide the outcome of your life. How you choose, how you decide, your choice can also be your outcome of your life. Negative thoughts have no power unless you empower them. Okay, if there is a negative thought, if you are unable to empower them, then definitely they don't have any kind of power. Okay. Self change. Okay, your attitude, your thinking, and your behavior. Okay, You need to change yourself. Okay. How to change your attitude? Attitude changes happen personally from the inside out. If you genuinely want to change your attitude, and it changes from your inside out. So accept the responsibility. I am responsible for who I am, for what I am, or for what I do. So you have to take your responsibilities for whatever you do, for whatever you are, for whatever you need to, I mean, who you are and what you do. How to change your thinking? Thinking changes comes from thinking logically in every situation. You need to be logical. You need, if there is no logical thinking, then it is not going to change your thought process. Okay, so to change the thought process, to change your attitude, you need to be logical in every kind of situation and think logically. Observe your thinking. What can I do to diffuse this? I refuse to let this hook me. Tomorrow it will be. So you see, your thought process, whatever thought is being bombarded on you, you need to change the thought process. You need to have a positive outlook to every kind of thought which comes in. Okay, that is going to change your job attitude. Manage your self-talk. It's going to be a wonderful day, this is going to be a crappy day. See, whatever thoughts come to in your mind, you need to manage your self-talk. Okay, and make it in a positive way, that yes, it's going to be a wonderful day. The choice is yours. Okay, with a bad attitude, you can never have a positive day. With a positive attitude, you can never have a bad day. Okay, if you're having a bad attitude, then it is true that you're not going to have a positive day. But if you are having a positive attitude, you are not going to have a bad day. Okay, a positive attitude is like a management for positive result. Okay, so if we are going to summarize it, we need to see that the managers or the authority of any organization, they need to watch the employees attitude, what kind of attitude they are exhibiting. Okay, because their attitude is going to influence their behavior. Okay, the managers also, they need to try to increase the job satisfaction and generate positive job attitude. Okay, so job satisfaction should be encouraged, and positive job attitude should be also be generated. Okay, they give warnings of potential problems, reduces cost by lowering turnover, absenteeism. So if the managers are going to increase the job satisfaction, then it also reduces the lower turnover, absenteeism, okay, theft, and increasing OCB. Focus on the intrinsic part of the job, make work challenging and interesting. So pay is not enough. Okay, you have to make the job interesting. It's not like a mechanical work you're not going to do every single day. You have to make it interesting and challenging. Okay, so this is the summary. uh, um, with this, I think we have concluded it. See, if you ignore me, I'll ignore you. If you don't make an effort to start the conversation, sometimes we won't talk. If you don't put in the effort, why should I? See, this is the case of every worker. Okay, if you're going to ignore me, I'm going to ignore you. Okay. Sometimes what happens is that people, they think that yes, very very rude, or not very improper way of behaving. So that does happen with every kind of organization. Okay, so these are few proverbs. An old man said, "Erasers are made for those who make mistakes." A youth replied, "Erasers are made for those who are willing to correct their mistakes." Okay, so attitude matters. What you think? Okay, so erasers are made for those who make mistakes. This has been said by an old man. But a youth is replying that if you're willing to correct your mistakes, so erasers are those who want to correct their own mistakes. So your attitude matters the most. Okay. So my attitude is a result of your action. If you don't like my attitude, blame yourself. So we need to, I mean, comprehend. We need to contemplate that why somebody's attitude is such, whether it is to blame myself or to him. Okay. So with this, I conclude. I believe we have covered most of the job attitude. And thank you for your time. Thank you very much.